Wow, what a game. So far tonight, 2 games in the books that we care about, 76ers and game 1 of the Final Four, third game being played right now, and 2 thrilling games, and especially for the Philadelphia 76ers, a dagger 3 from Anthony Edwards with 7 seconds to go, facing the shot clock and a double team in a really bad spot along the sideline, and he hits, as the Timberwolves Twitter account put it, a horse shot to win the game 114-109 over the Philadelphia 76ers, the scrappy Philadelphia 76ers, handing them, though, their 11th loss in a row, 5th win for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the tank continues to go full speed ahead despite a hard-fought game and an entertaining one on the Saturday night. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app using code PHLY365 whenever you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. It is not ordinary. Rich Hoffman, Bree is with us as well. I'm Devon. All of you already in the chat ready to go because, hey, you saw a good one, but as Seth F. says, masterclass in tank camouflage. Yes, we got the helmets on. We're ready to go. Man, it was too close for call, to be honest with you.
Got a little dicey down the stretch.
But it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. And I think for most of this game, it was, it vacillated back between, about an even game and a Timberwolves 10-point lead.
Yeah.
Wasn't really too much going on. And then down the stretch, Quentin Grimes. There is, and I think this is true of Maxey and McCain as well. There is a microwave scorer element to that dude because, as you mentioned, because we were watching the game, you're like, wait, how many did he have in the first 3 quarters, and how many does he have now? He had 11 points through 3 quarters, and he caught absolute fire down the stretch. Man, He made things way too close for comfort. And the most impressive thing to me about Quentin Grimes down the stretch, man, is he was doing it against one of the NBA's best wing defenders, right? The Sixers, they had Jalen McDaniels. He's the worst brother of the two. This is Jaden McDaniels, who, when you have his length, and the thing I think of when I watch Jaden McDaniels play is just he's so unbelievably long. He's got Rudy Gobert behind him so he can press up on players. It is a very nice combo. I tweeted this out. There's a screenshot of him, I think after Grimes' 3rd or 4th 3 of those last few minutes. I don't even want to say the 4th quarter. It was just the last few minutes where he completely caught fire. And Jaden McDaniels has his hands up, guys. He's got no idea what to do. He's basically like, I don't know what to do with this dude right now. He is absolutely on fire. It's amazing. I mean, when Grimes gets it going, he is such a fun player, man. And it just feels like every one of those threes, whether they're contested. Yeah, thank you for putting up the screenshot there, Bree. As you can see, and at the bottom right of the screen, Jaden McDaniels is like, what is going on with this guy right now? He's on fire. I got nothing for him. He's shaking me. Even when he's not shaking me, he's shooting over me. Amazing performance by Quentin Grimes down the stretch that would have led the Sixers to a win if not for just some unbelievable plays, particularly the shot you mentioned by one Anthony Edwards.
So respect is our thumbnail for the show tonight because as much as we down the Sixers coming into this game, asking Rich and Bree and all of you the question of, can they play spoiler? Not really tonight. We didn't think so, and how it was going. And they came out, though, after a down 13 at one point. Then they fought back to make it a 1-point game going into the 4th. Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves going like a 14-5 run. He had 8 of the 14, forcing a timeout.
He made some tough threes. He made 2 tough threes back-to-back.
And they extended the lead to 10. And we're like, all right, this one's pretty much wrapped up. Yep. I'm writing up the notes, and I had to change that a few times because of the work that Quentin Grimes just simply did there down the stretch. Just to be honest with you, we're always honest with you guys. As we were writing things up, we were also, putting some things together of our player of the game. And we had to shift that because of how good he was. First, we were saying, we're keeping it this one guy because Grimes is doing his fourth quarter performance of padding the stats. Not his fault. The team is bad. He's just doing what he needs to do also before he sits down to make it look respectable as the final score eventually comes to an end. And it changed mid-padding of stats because Adam Bonus tonight, not Adem Bona, but Adem Bona getting a really good tip away there in the backcourt, allowing Quentin Grimes to pick up the loose ball, get a dunk to cut the lead again. This is against a veteran in Mike Conley that's happening. Those guys are being relentless, even again, trailing by double digits in the fourth quarter, looking like the game was over. They're like, no. Grimes hits a big shot. You get a dunk from Adem Bona. Gershon Yabusele gets a basket there down the stretch where they just simply did not go away. But as he had the 11 points when we checked the box score and then he just starts going off, we're like, wait a minute, this is becoming a game. And it was really because all of their hustle, all of their grit, the never quit in this particular group of 76ers, led by their best player in Quentin Grimes. This is why we talked about it, Rich, in the pregame show. And honestly, the way we've been talking about him for the last month. Number one, he needs to sit his ass down now. That's enough. That's enough. We've seen enough from Quentin Grimes. There's 4 games left. You've proven your point. You have nothing else to prove at this point. But again, respect. Hats off to you.
Yeah.
You're going to get paid in the offseason. But this is what we talked about, man. You said he has this microwave in him. This is kind of why you maybe, when you look at him, you can see a 5th starter.
Oh, yeah.
But you can also see a 6-man, where he's going to be a 6-man candidate of the year.
Yeah.
And he's going to be one that can come in and give you 17 a night off the bench, like a Peyton Pritchard type or, whatever guy, Malik Beasley, who they kept talking about a lot because of all of his made threes. The same with Anthony Edwards breaking these records and putting themselves in the category of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But my goodness, man, he's going to get his this offseason. He's getting his now. He's going to get his this offseason with how he's conducting himself as a lead guy where they don't give up. They've gotten blown out because they're going to get blown out. They are not a good roster right now. But he is clearly the best player on this basketball team that suits up every night. And so much so, again, where I'm like, yo, man, and somebody else that I was tweeting back and forth with, enough is enough. You need to sit down, buddy, because you're good. You're good. You've made yourself a fan favorite. Everybody wants you back. They just don't want you to sneak and win one of these basketball games when things need to be L's at this point, man.
It would have been funny if the fans started booing when, not when he was making the 3, but when we had thought he fouled out and Nick Nurse challenged.
I forgot about that.
With like 10 seconds of, by the way, that was a weird call. I thought Grimes clearly fouled Randall on that play. But anyway, Nick Nurse challenges it and it gets overturned. And so the Wolves go side out. No foul out for Quentin Grimes. It would have been funny if the fans booed. They were like, man, this guy's making it way too interesting right now.
Yes.
He was awesome. So he struggled. I mean, again, he had 11 points through 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And it felt to me that the guy that we were going to give player of the game to, Jared Butler, was doing a much better job of navigating Rudy Gobert's super deep drop, right? And it's one of those things where Rudy Gobert, he has one style of play that he can do, but he's awesome at it. And if you don't, come correct with like knowing when to take the right floaters and finding the right passing lanes and maybe finding a pick and pop big man to counteract that, it can be really hard. And I thought Jared Butler did a better job through 3 quarters and really the whole game of navigating that specific pick and roll. Grimes, one thing that I'd like to see a little bit more from him, and I think some of this comes back to how he was used in Dallas and in New York. He doesn't really shoot too many floaters, and I don't know, it's different. I don't want to complain about him because I think he's been phenomenal, but you do see that he doesn't have some of those off-speed pitches that a lot of the on-ball guards have in the NBA, and maybe he'll develop that over the summer. I mean, in fairness, like you would hope next year that he won't have to do all this creating, and he'll be able to take just some wide-open catch-and-shoot threes. Mm-hmm. But he struggled with that tonight because it felt like at least 3 times he got a little too deep, tried to finish over Gobert, no foul, and it was a layup, but it was a tough shot, and it felt like he did not read the play correctly there. And then in the fourth quarter, I mean, he just, you know what? It was the game. It reminded me of the Houston game a couple weeks ago where he's just cooking. He's just dribbling around the arc. He's like Walter Clayton in these NCAA games where he's just dribbling. You have no idea where he's going to go. And then at some point, he's going to stop on a dime, rise up and shoot and drill that jumper. And he was phenomenal. And I think you're right, too. Down the stretch, Minnesota, it reminded me of some of the old Sixers teams, like when Ben Simmons was good and Embiid was younger, and they had a game won. Like Minnesota was kind of sleepwalking, both, I would say, effort-wise a little bit, but also just decision-making-wise. And they were just trying to hold on to a game and prevent offense. The only guy who wasn't doing that was Ant Edwards, who completely bailed them out. I mean, there was the one play where Mike Conley, who's been in the league for 35 years at this point, is like one of the smartest players I've seen over the last 20 years. He put the ball right in Bona's hands on a trap. It was like,
yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah.
It was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on right now? And even that last shot that Ant made, the Sixers get a perfect trap on him. Like was it Butler and Grimes? It was Butler and another small guy.
Yeah.
They got a perfect trap. And Anthony Edwards, because he is just awesome and so much fun to watch. My gosh, I mean, I guess I'm getting off track here, but
no, you're not.
That dunk on Bona in the first quarter was. Yeah. You said it. I mean, he just kept going up.
Yeah, he just kept elevating, man. He just kept climbing that dude, man, and he finished that one with one of his two really impressive dunks tonight against the Sixers defense. But
he moves differently, man.
Yeah, he does.
He just keeps elevating. Man,
he's in the chat. By
very
the way.
impressive. Oh,
he's in the chat. He says, "I'm him. Can't guard me." I responded.
Man. Nice game.
Hey, good to see. Look, on the bus already, and he's in the chat checking in the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Thank you for the incredible finish, Ant, as well, because we needed that. Entertaining game, incredible finish by you. Good back and forth between you and Grimes, but you got your fifth win in a row, and you keep yourself in contention for a top 6 seed in the West. But no, you're right, man. Just those two, the duel that they had there in the fourth. I believe it was 17 for Edwards, and let me see, 18 for Edwards, 17 for Grimes, as they went at it there in that final frame.
They finished with 37 and 28.
Incredible. Incredible stuff. Incredible individual performance in the fourth quarter, lifting your team up the way that you needed to get the win and also to keep your team in it. As Quentin Grimes, who he didn't struggle per se, to your point. He had issues with certain things, but he had only shot the ball 8 times. He was 4 for 8. He was 1 for 4 from 3, as you mentioned when we were sitting out there on the couch talking about some of those misses. He was 1 for 4 from 3, 4 for 8 from the floor. He did have 3 turnovers, so he did struggle there. And those 3-point misses and another one that he missed, as you talk about, just trying to navigate and figure out how to finish around the rim when Rudy Gobert is in there and not Naz Reid. You know, so he found a way. He found his way because Gobert was out there in the fourth quarter. Gobert, who we talk about, he was really good tonight. Mm-hmm. He played 11 minutes and 53 seconds. He was there. And Quentin Grimes decided, I'm just not going in there. So what I'll do is I'll work my magic out here on the perimeter, hit 5 of 6 from 3, and 6 for 10 overall from the floor. Those 3 misses inside the 3-point line. You'd imagine that those were the ones that, again, trying to challenge. And he said, all right, enough is enough. Let me get hot from back here. Yeah. And these count as 3, and we need these right now. So
Rudy's not getting me out here.
Rudy's not getting them out there. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, just great individual stuff from one great guard. I'm big on great, very good, stuff like that. Everybody's not great. Anthony Edwards is great.
Just like star and superstar.
Exactly. Franchise, all that stuff. Anthony Edwards is a superstar. He's a franchise player. He's a great player.
Absolutely.
Quentin Grimes is a good basketball player.
Good basketball player.
Good basketball player. I might give him capital G good. You know what I mean?
The last few weeks he's been capital G good. But the track record is not there, especially because he's not.
And that's okay.
Absolutely fine.
That's okay. Everybody finds their way in the league. He has a role. Right now, he's the best player. This was an entertaining one tonight.
Where does Anthony Edwards rank for you among the most fun players in the league to watch?
Oh, he's number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's number 1. I mean, even with Shea, as fun as he is to watch, it's different they're two different styles.
It's a little grifty.
Yeah, it's a little two different styles. Jokic is high up there too with how he gets it done as a big man and the things that he does with the passing. But Anthony Edwards is number one for me. Always number one is Kevin Durant. But some injuries and stuff knock him off, knock him down a bit. But always number one for me between him, Damian Lillard, and we know Dame's gotten a little bit older as well, and you can see
when
it.
Dame was cooking in Portland.
When Dame he was 1 and 2, Durant and Lillard for me. Edwards has elevated like he did tonight against Bodner. Number one for me on the most watch fun. I really enjoy watching him play basketball.
He is, it's funny. He feels like he's like out of the 90s in that he plays like that Michael Jordan two-guard style. There's not a lot of two guards in the league anymore. Like the classic, mid-range guys, although Ant does shoot a lot of threes. I mean, he leads the league.
But that's the league, right?
In three-pointers, and he's so good that he's adapted in that regard. But yeah, he just reminds me of kind of like, some of the two guards we saw in the 90s, like a Grant Hill, like a guy that would just win with athleticism and skill. And man, he is so unbelievably fun to watch.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I mean, part
really
of it,
is.
like, and this is a simple thing, just the elevation that dude gets on his jump shot. And in fairness, Quentin Grimes gets a lot of elevation on his jump shot too, where it's like
he is a jump shooter. He jumps. He's not a set shooter. He jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does. Bree, can we show the three-pointer, the game winner, pretty much there for the horse shot, as the Minnesota Timberwolves Twitter account calls it, because as you explained it, the double team along the sideline with the two guys right there. Conley has to give him the ball. He gives it to him, and there's just everybody, just watch this again. Just watch greatness, just watch greatness and him.
And again, the Sixers trapped this perfectly. Perfectly. And that was the story. What a shot. I mean, man, what a shot. And that was the story of the final few minutes. Sixers were outplaying these guys, and the Wolves were a little scared. They were tentative. And you want to call that luck? You want to call that greatness? I think it's all of those things at the same time.
That is
insane.
Not an easy shot.
Insane shot.
Not an easy shot to take. I mean, look, these guys are pros. They make tough shots. But again, Quentin Grimes makes shots like that. But there's a difference, when you watch the overall package of the game, and he's hit big shots for the 76ers to help wins, elevate his profile in the offseason to get paid, whether it's here or elsewhere. But Anthony Edwards, yes, was fantastic. That shot was great. We'll show you the dunk a little bit later because that was nuts as he just kept climbing over a Bodner early in the game. Thought that was going to set a tone. We'll see how things go with the Timberwolves in the postseason. The Sixers will not be there. Depending on the matchup, I'm an Anthony Edwards guy as far as a basketball player goes, and he makes games entertaining. So if we're talking about playoffs, and like you mentioned in the pregame show against the Nuggets, hey, they went in there in Game 7, down 20, came back and won. Now they lost in the Western Conference Finals, and it wasn't even close. But man, they are a fun team, except for when they give the ball to Julius Randle. All right, when we come back, we'll get to the player of the game. We'll get to the Ace Hardware temperature check. We'll also check in on the Tank Watch and the Prospect Watch. One from the Florida game that we're inserting into Prospect Watch now. Stay tuned for that one, and we'll give you an update on the Duke-Houston game, the final game to set the national championship game for Monday night. It's the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Sixers lose a thriller. Anthony Edwards with a dagger, 114, 109, 11 losses in a row, Rich. We'll come back. We'll discuss more right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show, where the tank continues to move along. Presented by Bet365.
And Devon, let's talk about our friends at Timeline. Guys, Timeline, they sell health and longevity supplements featuring their proprietary Mito Pure ingredient. Mito Pure works with the cells in your body to help reverse age-related decline. Benefits, they include strength, energy, and endurance. And Timeline, they have done 15 plus years of research and secured over 30 U.S. patents for their products. Look, the cells in our bodies are the building blocks of life, guys. And Timeline is a supplement that works with those cells to help give you more energy, feel stronger during workouts, and preserve health and mobility as you start to age. Again, that patented ingredient is MitoPure. It is a postbiotic nutrient that clears out dysfunctional mitochondria, aka your cell's battery packs. And look, that's a lot of science. I wasn't that good in science in school. Were you?
No, I was not.
I was more of a history guy.
Okay. Yeah,
But
not for me.
they got the science taken care of. And with regular use, you'll see and feel the difference in the form of improved energy levels, better workouts, faster recovery, and more endurance. MitoPure recharges your cells and helps your body systems work better, and is the only supplement clinically proven to rejuvenate health at the cellular level. So get ready to be your best, most energized, and most revitalized you. Right now, Timeline is giving you 10% off your order of MitoPure. So go to timeline.com/PHLY today to get started. That is timeline.com/PHLY.
As always, our pre- and post-game shows and our 3 p.m. shows are brought to you by Bet365. And during the pregame show, giving you the Bet365 pregame picks, we went with the Final Four in picking the representatives for both games to face off in Monday night's national championship game. We got the first one right. Florida coming back after trailing Auburn with another stunning win to advance to the national championship game, awaiting the winner of Houston and Duke. We had Duke in that one. So if you went with us in that and you tailed it, we also said maybe you add Minnesota to make that a 3-leg parlay with the win. Close one, but they got the W. We said win, not points. We said win on that one. So if you did follow suit and went to Bet365, you are now one of the 90 million users worldwide to jump on in and be a part of the great Bet365. Here's what you do to be a part of the Bet365 family. They have live streams, 780,000 events a year, early payout offers across the NBA and the NHL. They have pioneered live in-game betting. So if you saw how things were going with the Philadelphia-Minnesota game and you felt like you need to adjust some numbers, you could have done that right there at Bet365. Here's what you do also on Saturdays. Bet365 has Slam Dunk Saturday. Place a qualifying parlay bet totaling $20 or more on any Saturday game and get up to $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions apply. Also, breaking news from Bet365. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up, use code PHLY365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a $5 bet to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Either one. Nobody else is doing that. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures. If you pick the national championship winner, that's considered a future, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. Bree, did I send you the dunk just so we can get that out of the way? I think I might have sent that one a little bit earlier, a little Anthony Edwards on Adem Bodner. Not the same performance from Bodner. Tough to follow that 28-point performance. He was fantastic in that game. Rudy Gobert is a tall dude.
Tough matchup.
The front court is big with Randall, Reed, and Gobert. But Minnesota gave us a bunch of angles on this one. Again, when you're a shot blocker, you're going to challenge and protect your rim. He tried. Anthony Edwards got there too fast.
That's the other impressive thing about this.
He got there too fast.
Yeah. Like, I don't think Bono was prepared for that.
No.
For him to get his steps.
He couldn't jump.
And Bono is a very quick leaper off the floor, too. That might be his best single attribute, honestly. I think his motor is his best attribute, but physically, man, he gets up off the floor quick. We've talked about how good his second jump is, and just Ant beat him to the spot there. And
well,
welcome to the league, kid.
Guess who he had in front of him where his eyes lit up to make that move? Gershon Yabusele.
Yeah,
so
Yabu struggled staying in front of guys tonight.
His decision-making was clear when he received that basketball. I'm going left, and I'm going to the paint. Yeah. And Adem Bodner, who is a really good shot blocker for a rookie. Great timing. He's not a great shot blocker. He's a good shot blocker as a rookie with great timing, though, to make people alter their shots and challenge them at the rim. Anthony Edwards, though, is an elite athlete And as we talked about, a great player in this league, and he had his mind made up, and it was so fast. As Rich said, Bodner couldn't even gather his steps to get up there and really challenge that one. So it was a poster, but it wasn't his fault because it was too quick.
Again, I mean, it was such a blow-by that
was unbelievable.
Usually there's a little more, the guy has to dribble around.
Yeah.
He basically got a straight line drive to his left, and so that's fine. Madem, no problem with that.
And again, he kept climbing that 6'9" guy.
Good learning experience. And Adem, he kept playing hard, so good for Adem. Another guy who I thought played pretty well tonight, we mentioned him already. Jared Butler's pretty good. Okay. Oh, wait a sec.
Let's go to the temperature check. Heating up, cooling off with our Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Rich, who do you have heated up tonight?
Jared Butler is heating up.
Boy, please. Please do.
He's just a smart basketball player. Like, he understands. He plays at a very nice pace. Never really gets sped up too much. I guess there were a couple instances a few weeks ago, but again, he wasn't really playing a ton of NBA minutes at that time. But the more he plays, I just think you get that guy in a pick and roll, and if somebody goes over the screen and they're chasing him, and there's one big man and he's basically playing 2-on-1, I don't know, man. I feel like he makes the right decision a lot. And obviously he does not have the physical attributes that an Anthony Edwards has, right? Or a LeBron or somebody. So there is certainly a ceiling to him. But I think he's an NBA guard just in terms of his skill level and his decision-making as well. It just feels like he's making the right decision a lot recently. I don't know whether it's going to be on the Sixers next year or not, but I would be fine with the Sixers bringing Jared Butler back, because the more I watch that guy play, the more impressed I am with how he gets an offense organized. He finds the roller. He sometimes shoots those floaters. He's much more willing to take those floaters that I mentioned that Grimes is not as willing to do. So, yeah, he's just a good player.
He is, man. And again, the thing that I was concerned about, even though I liked the pickup when they brought him in, the thing I was concerned about being more of a scoring guard than a point guard. We know he can score. We know he is a scoring guard. He has shown, though, now, once he's really settled down and the ball is his, the basketball is his, when it's not Jeff Doughton, when it's not Tyrese Maxey, or even Quentin Grimes, the basketball is his. And he has done a really good job when it comes to running the offense with just guys being picked up off the scrap heap every week, because they've had 10-day contract guys every week. He's more familiar now because he's been here since February with Grimes, Bodner, Yabusele, Justin Edwards, yes, but they are still not the type of players you would like to have surrounding him to really get a good evaluation of the type of player that he is. But if you squint hard enough, like Daryl Morey asked us to do, you can maybe see a guy where, again, he can be that. Reggie Jackson was the 15th man, where Jared Butler, as Rich has talked about, could be the 15th man, where he gets those minutes, where he has to come in there in the second quarter because things are a little stagnant. We need a little bit of a burst. We need some energy. We need some little pop in the offense and somebody just simply run the team. Jared Butler has provided a lot of that with his play as of late. He has gotten consistent run, and while it is a bad team, it's a different trajectory than it was with the Washington Wizards of him just simply trying to stay in the league.
Yeah.
And nobody can score on that team. I need to score. Here you do, while you had Poole and Kuzma at that time, here you have Grimes, but in the long run, it's going to get back to being a playoff team, a potential, dare I say, contender for whatever they're contending for. So it's a different role on this basketball team. And I think whoever got to him, maybe it wasn't reaching him with the Washington Wizards coaching staff, with all due respect to them. But here again, there's a different pathway. There's a different end game if he is to be here next season and he wants to be on this squad, that he has to run a different type, play a different type of role on this basketball team as a point guard first and a scorer second. And Jared Butler has done just that. He's really done a nice job giving them something to think about for next season. Right now, he's on a standard NBA deal. He's no longer on a two-way contract. He's giving them something to think about. If they have to, again, as you talked about, going into the, how did you say it? Going in a different direction like the Eagles did this year. when it comes to the free agency. The Sixers may have to approach that a little differently this year than they did last year. But instead of picking up someone like Reggie Jackson because you needed a vet on the roster, you got a vet who hasn't played a lot of minutes but is an old enough player to understand, number one, what the system is, and knowing that he's playing for something with this basketball team when his number is called. So he has a leg up.
And a vet that's in his mid-20s instead of his mid-30s.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
So I looked it up. In the last 16 games that Butler has played, 93 assists to 30 turnovers. That's not that bad considering how much of the offense is on him, and really that he's not playing with a ton of high-level players sometimes, especially off the bench.
And not knowing them.
Yeah.
Chuma Okeke comes in, that's in. O'Shea Brissett comes in, he's here. Now you have Bagley in on a second 10-day. Okay, Wheeler. These, Castleton. These are the other players that are getting regular minutes that are coming in here and playing some basketball. So hats off to him too, because
he's acquitted himself.
And here's the
well.
problem.
Yeah.
While we're still in our temperature check for Ace Hardware, here's the problem. You said 16. He probably didn't play in a few of those games because they kept putting Jeff Doughton out there on the floor. We already know. We know who Jeff Doughton is. You're trying to evaluate this player too. Jeff Doughton was starting. We thought Butler had composed himself enough where he should have gotten a few of those starts.
Yeah.
Jeff Doughton started a few of those.
Yeah. After Butler got traded for, we were like, can we at least see what Butler has? We have no idea if he's good. And he wasn't playing that well in a lot of those games. But part of the reason he wasn't playing that well was it felt like he was getting inserted in the third quarter after not playing in the first half. So it's like, how much can you actually blame a guy when he's not really part of the rotation, but the team is playing so poorly that he gets inserted in the second half? Yeah, I think he's definitely. It's been such a weird year, man, where you just have all of these losses at the end of the season, but you could argue that everybody in the starting lineup is doing something positive, right? Who is, at least putting together a 5-game stretch where they are showing, okay, I'm an NBA player. I could be a rotation player, or, I can help the team win tonight. And we're not going to win because our defense stinks. And the other team has Anthony Edwards, and that's fine. But they are all doing some positive things. I mean, we talked about on the pregame show our expectations next year among the starting lineup. If Grimes and Yabusele get re-signed, ranking them in order in terms of the minute load that we thought they all were going to get. I mean, Jared Butler is clearly 5th on that list, but he's also played pretty well. And I don't want to make too much of this end of season basketball, but I've been impressed with him. I mean, in these games, like, he's clearly not flustered. You see it when they go down 10 points in the second quarter. Who's the guy that gets them back in the game? It's usually Jared Butler making the right decision. So there is something to be said for that. Thought he made some great decisions in transition tonight. The Wolves, their transition defense wasn't amazing, but Jared Butler got a couple cheapy assists by making the hit-ahead pass and some buckets. Anyway, I think he's good.
32 minutes, 16 points, 8 assists, 3 turnovers, 7 for 15 from the floor, 1 for 4 from 3, and a temperature check heating up for Jared Butler here tonight following the Sixers game. Once again, that's our heating up, cooling off at Ace Hardware with our temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. We'll check in with Derek Bodner in a little bit from the arena. We'll get our Tank Watch, Prospect Watch, Daily Tankathon spin before we get out of here on this Saturday night. Sixers lose their 11th straight, 114-109 following the loss tonight. They're now 2.5 games in front of, in the reverse, the Brooklyn Nets, holding down the 5th spot right now in the Eastern Conference. We'll update you on the rest of the teams that we need to worry about right here when we get back on the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show. It's presented by Bet365. And I need to tell you about some money. TrueMark Financial. They've got you all situated as you get ready to spring into your savings and get things going. Also, some financial literacy. It is Financial Literacy Month, and got something that's going to help you off the field, off the court, off the ice, and that's simply teaching your kids how to handle their money. If you're a TrueMark Financial member, like most of you are at this point, like we've told you, you've got a fantastic opportunity to help your kids and teens learn to earn, save, and spend wisely with a Greenlight account. Start them off very early, folks. Now Greenlight isn't just any app. It's a game changer for you and your kids, whether they're setting savings goals, learning how to track their spending, or even getting their allowance and wanting to put it into the bank where they can look at it, not just cash in hand, but look on the app and say, I did that. I've accomplished something, and it's all right there at their fingertips. And get this, each kid gets their own debit card. That's right. They can make their purchases, learn how to budget, and build real-world money skills while you stay in control from your phone. It could be something as simple as buying something for their video game, or buying some clothes that they like, or a pair of sneakers or shoes that they like as well. You get peace of mind, though, and they get their chance to make you feel smart, make themselves feel smart, and responsible choices with their money. So if you're looking for a way to teach your kids some financial plays this financial literacy month, cannot recommend this enough. It's like training for life's biggest game, and money factors in a big way for the long run as a young kid into adulthood. Head over to TrueMark.com/greenlight, get all the details, and sign up today. Don't miss the chance to set your kids up for financial success.
Now let's talk about our good friends at Ace Hardware Home Services. Do you have a leaky pipe? At Ace Hardware Home Services, they are around the block with everything that you need to fix it. And now that includes the person that does the fixing. How about an air conditioning issue? They've got a person for that. What about a faucet that you've always said that you would fix? They've got that person too, because now Ace is not just the helpful hardware folks. They are also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they've got the trusted pros to keep your home humming all year long. And they're bringing helpful home, the helpful that you love, from the store to your front door. And at Ace, whenever they get ready for the next job, they remember what to bring. They bring experience. They're local plumbers and techs that handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations and upgrades. They also bring understanding. They listen to your goals, and the job isn't completed until you, the customer, are satisfied. They bring helpful to your home so you can spend more of the time on the projects that really matter to you. Free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home and budget, service that you can trust, and satisfaction guaranteed. And look, Ace Hardware Home Services, they are local. They're teams that live and serve your community and are dedicated to keeping their neighbors comfortable in their home. So guys, go and visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get yourself started on your next project.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Let's jump into the player of the game here tonight. We talked about him, 28 points, 6 for 10 from beyond, 3 boards and 2 assists in a 17-point fourth quarter to make things really interesting down the stretch for Quentin Grimes. He continues his fantastic run to the close of the 24-25 season in the Sixers uniform, making a real big case not only to stay here, but get some big money offers from other teams around the association. Quentin Grimes, once again, he's probably running away at least the second half of the season with Player of the Game awards here on the postgame show.
It was the Jared McCain Award in November, and now it's the Quentin Grimes Award in March and April.
Quentin Grimes, our Player of the Game, presented by
no one.
Yes. All right. Anybody else on the Sixers side to stand out? Justin Edwards had to leave the game with the hip issue that we saw, got injured in the first half, came back out there, tried to give it a go, but he wasn't right, and you could tell. Of course, we don't know, but if we're guessing,
I don't know.
Hey, my man, relax.
Don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself. You look like you might have a bright future.
If you're good to play, that's absolutely fine. But look, if you need Monday off, that's fine. Yeah. But look, tough kid, Philly kid. I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah. Lonnie Walker was good too.
Lonnie Walker was good. I got a kick out of Yabu yelling, "He ain't got that," as his French teammate, who I'm sure he's played a ton of basketball with at the Olympic level, Rudy Gobert, tried to shoot a floater. I just thought that was pretty funny. He ain't got that in his bag. That's what Yabu said. Rudy actually did make that shot, but I thought that was pretty funny. Lonnie Walker was good. It's about it. I mean, you don't usually get like 8 deep down the Sixers depth chart with notable stuff.
Someone asked why Ricky Council wasn't in the game a little bit more. I mean, Rick just the game was going back and forth, and it didn't fit. The up and down nature fits Ricky, but for whatever reason, this game didn't call for Ricky out there on the floor tonight, in my opinion. And you know how we feel about Ricky Council, even though this might be it for him in the Sixers uniform at season's end. But tonight just didn't call for Ricky Council tonight, especially when they needed to play a solid brand of basketball and try to win this one.
And look, I think Rick has gotten more run over this last little bit, but I don't know. I don't know why he didn't play tonight. I mean, it feels like there's not really much of an excuse to not play him. I agree.
Bagley hasn't played bad.
I agree with what you're saying, in that it felt like almost too much of a Rick game where you're like, okay, you need somebody who can settle this thing down. But on the other hand, like when you're playing Marcus Bagley over him, it's also like, I think you could have given Rick some minutes.
Probably. Especially, I mean, but again, are you really in evaluation mode? You know who he is.
You do know who he is.
You know who he is. So
that's true.
At this point, it's not much to it.
It's certainly not something I'm going to get worked up over.
No, not this one. Maybe on Monday it will call for Ricky Council to be out there on the floor. Let's get to our super chat from Riaz. Hanging out with us here tonight, as always, Riaz with the super chat stating, "Hey guys, did you see the report about PG and a pick for DeRozan? Do you see this as a good move? Miles Bridges also would fit well on this team." Also, Riaz, thanks for the super chat. I'll just say for me, and I can speak for Kyle, Derek, and Bree, I think Rich too. We're out on the Miles Bridges. Out on the Miles Bridges thing, Riaz. We can have a conversation, though, about DeMar DeRozan. You know, as well as everyone else, that I was more in favor of it than any of us have been on the show in the offseason. I was in favor of DeRozan. For Paul George, I still would say no right now, especially with the way that Quentin Grimes has played. There's no need for DeRozan on this roster that way, especially if you keep that top 6 pick. If you're looking for a wing, number one overall pick, Cooper Flag. But if you're going to get another wing, I would prefer to just keep Paul George, see if he can get himself going year 2 after all the injuries and all.
I just think as poorly as Paul George played this year, he's got a better skill set to play off other players than DeMar does. By the way, I respect the hell out of DeMar, man. I thoroughly enjoy watching him. The footwork, the mid-range, all of that stuff. I just don't think it translates to this Sixers team, Riaz. I would rather have Paul George at this point when, let's be honest, both of those guys are old, but I think Paul George has the skill set that will age a little better, my hope is, and even if he's not worth ultimately what you signed him for, he still can fit in kind of a scaled down type of role. So that's where I go. But DeMar DeRozan, love DeMar DeRozan. Seems like an awesome dude and teammate, and we talked a lot about like his mental health stuff over the year. Big fan of him, and really just like a fan. But I don't think he's the right fit for the Sixers team.
I wanted to get, speaking of the Kings out in the West, they're fighting for a play-in spot out there. I wanted to ask you about the Wolves again, just because we'll talk about them in the playoffs, but as they continue moving along, we talked about how Anthony Edwards is very, very high on our must-watch list, favorite to watch in the league, but non-Sixers stuff, of course. How do you see them, though, for people who may have just joined, how do you see them in the Western Conference playoffs? That's particularly because of the Julius Randle piece.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody else is the same.
We were groaning.
Except for Dante DiVincenzo. We know his playoff success, his national championship success as well on the big stage.
I felt like last year might have been his career year, too. He's still good, but he was out of control last year.
He was.
How good
but we also know he's not afraid of the moment.
No, he's not. Certainly not.
Yeah, so we know that. So between he and Alexander Walker off the bench for those guys with Naz Reid. That's a pretty good trio coming off the bench, especially when you switch things up, go with the double bigs of Reid and Randall like we saw with Reid and Towns a year ago. But the Randall piece is the one that really scares me for them.
Yeah, I think Cat was a much better fit. And look, I think Cat has his issues as a player for
Absolutely.
sure.
Especially that foul trouble he would always get in is
certainly
amazing.
on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Certainly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some of his decision making, he just got too emotional.
But he was tremendous last year against Denver.
Well, his ability to scale at the 4 and the 5 is like that shooting even at the 4 plays, which is very rare for. I mean, it's something we need to see with Yabusele. You know, it's like that's great that he can make all those threes when he's being guarded by a center, but it's a different ball game when you're a 4 and you're spotting up around a pick and roll. So Cat had that. I don't know where they slot in, right? I think so. OKC clearly has to be the number 1 pick, right? Like
Yes, I agree.
you just have to give respect to number 1, what they've done over the last 2 years. But I mean, this year, like this is like historic stuff, man. Their point differential is out of control, man.
Insane.
They're blasting teams, and I understand that the playoffs will be a little bit different, right? Game slows down. They struggled against Dallas. They dared PJ Washington and Derek Jones to hit those shots against them last year, and they did. They beat them. But I think
Josh
they're
Hart
one.
beat the Sixers.
I still think the Lakers might be 2. Those 2 guys in a slow down series. I think the Lakers are a completely flawed team in a lot of ways, especially in their front court. But I just respect LeBron and Luka almost a little bit too much. But I think the West is going to be a ton of fun. My one hot take is I know Derek is about to be here. I think Houston's going to be a bad playoff team.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready for it.
No, I don't think they're ready.
Yeah, I don't think they're
I
ready
think
for it.
they're
Not that they're
classic.
not good, because they're really good.
And they'll be good in future years. But I think
Yeah.
this year I'm not feeling it.
I'm seeing like a 6-game series where, you want to see if Amen Thompson can do certain things in the playoffs. Other guys are proven there, but I agree with you. Fun team. They could sneak up on you, but maybe not ready just yet. Let's head to the arena. Who is ready? Checking in with Derek Bodner live from the arena following the Sixers' 11th consecutive loss. But a thrilling one tonight, Derek, as they made it a little bit too close for comfort in the fourth quarter. Anthony Edwards, though, with a horse shot to end the game, and it was fun down there.
Yeah, no, it was fun as long as the right outcome ended up coming to play, which it did. It was pretty wild. Quentin Grimes had 2 shots maybe in the entire first half. And then the last 3 minutes, he came alive. And certainly, the Wolves had some shenanigans and didn't really look like they were all that locked in for most of the night. And certainly didn't look like they were locked in down the stretch with the exception of Anthony Edwards. But Ant-Man came through at the end. You got the outcome that you needed. You had some good performances from the people that that you're interested in for next year, and for a game that I thought was pretty boring for the first 3 or so quarters, really turned into some fun at the end.
So let's talk about that fun a little bit more, Derek. You mentioned Quentin Grimes. Yeah, it's wild, right? He's pretty invisible for most of the game, and then he goes on this 3-minute stretch where it's just like Jaden McDaniels had nothing for him. He was getting free and making shots. He was not getting free and just jumping over Jaden McDaniels and making shots. I mean, it's kind of hard to project for next year because I think next year you would hope, okay, you have Maxey back, you have McCain back, you have Embiid, you have PG, you have all of these guys here. What he has shown in these last 15, 20 games, whatever it's been, he has these stretches where he makes these incredibly difficult shots seem pretty unguardable, honestly, because he gets unbelievable elevation on that shot. And it's almost like I don't even know what to do with it, but for now I'm just very impressed.
Yeah, and like you said, he gets great elevation on the shot. When you have to guard him out at that 3-point line, all of a sudden that driving lane opens up. He does a real good job of initiating contact and finishing inside, and it's a real tough combination to guard. I know a lot of people will look at it and say he's putting these up in games that don't matter, and where he is, has the ball as much as he's ever going to have the ball, and pretty much in an open look or a green light whenever he wants. But usually when you're in that kind of environment, it's real tough to be efficient. And the numbers he's putting up, over this 20-game or so stretch, not only the 22 or whatever points per game he's averaging, but he's shooting darn near, if it's not 50%, it's like right there. He's shooting like 40% from three. It's easy to put up points on a bad team, and on a, when you're going to have the ball each and every time down the floor, you can put up numbers. It's usually not efficient numbers like this. It is tough, I think, for a lot of people because you are going to have to give him a big contract, and he's going to end up being, if you're healthy, which I know is a massive if, nobody here is denying that, he's going to end up being like your fourth option. So all of a sudden, he's going to go from averaging 22, 23 per night to he might average 13 or 14 next year, not even necessarily because he's playing any worse. He's just going to have the ball a lot less. So I know there's a lot of consternation about that. I will say, I think with a team like this where you have so many of your top options, there's so much uncertainty, and you don't know night to night whether or not you're going to have one or two or who knows how many. Having someone like this who at least has proven that he can scale up the way that he has, I think it would be a good luxury. Certainly, you don't want to pay too much for that. I'm real curious to see what the market is going to be with him as a restricted free agent. But I think it's great that he's showing what he's showing because I do think he's doing too well and he's doing it too efficiently to just say this is a complete mirage. I don't think he's ever going to touch these numbers again, mostly because he's just not going to get that opportunity. But I can't disregard it just as, he's putting up big numbers on a bad team. That's great, but the efficiency he's doing at is real impressive.
How do you see it playing out where he only had 11 points through the first three quarters, 4 for 8 from the floor, 1 for 4 from three, 3 turnovers? What did you see in that fourth that really got him going? Because they got down pretty quickly, down by 10. And then all of a sudden, Edwards scored his 8 of the team's 14. Sixers only had 5 at that point, but he got it going. What changed in that fourth that you saw, not only with the Wolves' defense, but also with his maybe aggression and how he decided to score versus attacking the rim, trying to challenge Gobert?
Yeah, and I really think that aggression is the number one thing. He, like I said, he had, I think, two shots at halftime. It just seemed like this was the one game where he was finally, I don't want to say checked out, but not being as aggressive as he normally was. All of a sudden you get out, you see one perimeter shot go in, you start challenging in transition. I think he got out there in early offense a couple times. I think that certainly helped. But a lot of times you see the ball go down, you get that confidence back, and next thing you know, you're drilling 3 threes in a span of like 90 seconds. And like you said, a 10-point ball game that seemed pretty easily in hand for the Wolves. Next thing you know, it is in doubt. It's just, I think it's as simple as he saw the ball go in. He got a couple of looks, like I said, against a little bit of an unset defense there, and it just snowballed.
Derek, anything else notable from the post game? I mean, I know Justin Edwards got hurt. Was there any other news?
No, that was probably the biggest news. Nurse mentioned that he had aggravated that before, so they're going to be a little bit cautious. He tried to come back in. They cleared him or called him out at halftime. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot notable going on. And quite frankly, a lot of these press conferences, it is the end of the season, end of days. We will have that press conference, all of them, up there over at the YouTube. So go search for PHLY Sports YouTube. We will have that posted. As I just said, there's nothing really notable from it, but it will be up there.
Sell.
But no, there's nothing. Like I said, it's a heck of a sales pitch. I'm a salesman by trade. But no, it is. I mean, the season's winding down.
Anthony Edwards, one of your favorites to watch in person. I know how much you wanted to see Shea and OKC when they came to town. But Anthony Edwards, I think I've seen him twice just because of work getting in the way of being in the studio versus being at the game. But every time I'm able to watch him in person, I take advantage of that opportunity.
I mean, he's the ultimate. He's an incredible basketball player, a fun, exciting brand of basketball. You get those shots where he can just turn around, rise up, and shoot over top of anyone, and he's the ultimate showman as well. Yeah, he's definitely on the short list of some of the best to watch in this game right now. He's fun, he's exciting. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what to expect. And that little bit of edge, that trash talking, that confidence, it translates well to this game and translates well certainly to an arena like that. There were a lot of people, a lot of fans at the end chanting and giving him MVP chants as he walked off the floor. I think most of them were probably Minnesota fans, but there might be some Sixers fans who are also feeling that sentiment as well. But I think he is a great young talent and a great young entertainer, and I'm excited to watch him for the rest of his career.
What was he doing after the shot? Because the camera kind of cut away, but then when it went back, he was standing there, looking into the crowd, in his stance like he typically does with a big shot, like he did against Denver, quite frankly, in that Game 7. And when it came back, we were like, what was he doing? What did he do?
Yeah.
And And what was he doing? Because that was right in front of you, right?
It was, but I was trying to do like 4 different things, including writing up a tweet to close the game, looking up some stats, and maybe glancing at some of the Duke game that was just about to tip off. So I was multitasking there. I'm not sure if I saw what he did after the shot, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay. All right. It just looked like one of those, staring to the crowd.
It's Final Four, Devon. You're locked into a bunch of things here tonight.
All right, man. Well, get ready to get locked in and get out of there for your day off because you're back in here on Monday for the Sixers. Who is it, though?
Heat.
The Heat,
I believe.
in Miami on Monday. We'll be ready. We'll be ready before their fans get into the arena.
Yes.
On Monday. So we'll have our pre and post game. What's the start time on that one?
7:30.
7 o'clock
7:30?
pregame. It's
7
always 7:30 in Miami. How is, why?
And they still don't show up.
And they still don't show up on time. Pre-game with Derek, Kyle, myself, Bree. Rich has the day off, and we'll be back with you on Monday. Make sure you go read at allphly.com all of Derek and Kyle's work, Rich's newsletter as well. And Derek, have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Sunday, man. We'll see you on Monday.
Sounds good. Same to you, too.
You got it. See you, man. Appreciate Derek Bodner joining us live from the arena. It was the one, remember when he hit the big shot? Like they completed the comeback against Denver in that game 7, and he's standing there just posing, and A-Rod at the time was right there, and he was yelling at. Remember when he was yelling at somebody in the crowd, and it was dope. It was just like, yeah, get him.
I think that Derek's term, he is a showman.
He is definitely a showman. How does he say it? Believe that. So believe that.
Great performance in the movie Hustle.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He was here for a while. We didn't even get a chance to see him in the city.
It's funny. I was listening to a podcast about Blue Chips, which is one of my favorite movies from the 90s. And somebody brought up that the kids now, just because they're so much more media savvy and, they've basically had cameras in their faces for their whole careers.
Yeah.
Like the difference between Ant Edwards and how good of an actor he was in Hustle versus and I love Blue Chips, but Penny was great.
No, he wasn't.
In Blue Chips, which makes it kind of an endearing movie in some ways to me.
But he was that shy kid anyway, so it kind of fit the role.
Yeah, a little bit too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Shaq was great. In Blue Chips,
Shaq was great. Shaq was great. Absolutely. Let's let everybody know about our PHLY Sixers Draft Lottery Watch Party that we're going to have on May 12th right here at the studio.
Let's go.
But you got to be a diehard member. Sign up. Get in there.
There might be a deal right now.
Might be a deal for 36 bucks.
Something like
I think it's still going on, folks. So it's very, very doable. You sign up, 36 bucks, you get a free t-shirt, and you get a chance to hang out with Rich, Bree, Derek, Kyle. I'll be here too. Vince will be here. Vinny will be here. We'll see if we have some other people that might show up here as well for the draft lottery night. We will be here for approximately 2 hours. We just don't know the start time, between 7 or 7:30. I think we're going to do at least 30 minutes of an actual show and still browse around with everybody here, see if you can top our Pop-A-Shot numbers, get your name on the board here in the office.
Very competitive.
As well. It's very competitive. So allphly.com, go sign up, become a diehard member. Diehards only for our lottery party on May 12th. Believe again, that's a Monday. So sign up now so you can be a part of it. And the Flyers as well. Tank is going on for them. They're also on the 4th or the 5th. The Flyers watch party back here at the studio. Bill, Charlie, Kelly, right here. Brenna at the studio, at the office for the same deal. Just a few days earlier than ours. But big Flyer fans, we know you go into all of our shows. So sign up, become a diehard member so you can also jump in on the Flyers watch party as well. So make sure you do that and come in here with your gear on and, maybe get some more gear when you come in here and hang out with us, get some grub. We love candy. So I'm sure we'll have some candy. I saw some other people saying They're bringing stuff. I think Purple Heart said she's bringing cupcakes. So, we get cupcakes again, Bree, and we get all that good stuff. So again, it's always a good hang when you get to chill with us here back at the studio and hang out for our watch party. In general, we're going into overtime as well. So if you're watching on the Fast channel, dive on in at allphly.com that we just told you about to finish watching the remainder of the show here on this Saturday night. Now it's time for, what do you want to do first, Bree? Just a quick tank watch? Let's do a quick tank watch. No games tonight. All the games tomorrow. 2 in which we need. Nets and Pelicans in action.
Let's go Nets.
Raptors at Nets tomorrow, 3:30. You're not doing anything. What time do the Phillies play? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
Game will be over. Go on over to your NBA, whatever app that you have, and watch the game. Check out the Raptors and the Nets if you don't want to watch it.
Just check the score.
Just check the score, follow up, and make sure that things are working out in favor of your basketball team. And the second game, 8:30 later on that night, the Pelicans will be playing some basketball tomorrow night as well. And you need the Pelicans to win.
Go Pels.
Can they?
I don't think so.
Milwaukee?
Possible.
Sixers almost got them.
Yeah, they did.
Sixers almost got them. But Milwaukee then plays, New Orleans then plays the Nets on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's important. Sixers, Miami, follow suit. Miami has won, I believe, 4 in a row, 5 in a row now.
Oof.
5 in a row. They lost one. They had won a few games in a row. They lost one. So the Miami Heat will be hosting the Sixers on Monday night, and it will not be a back-to-back. They are off. So it will not be a back-to-back for the Miami Heat. Let's get to Prospect Watch. Thank you, Bree. Appreciate that. Let's get to Prospect Watch, see what happened. We had 2 games, Final Four, gearing up for the national championship. All right, we already figured, you know what? It's time to start talking about Michael Clayton Jr. They advance.
Walter Clayton.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Michael Clayton.
I'm thinking
good flick.
Yeah, good flick.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Walter Clayton Jr., the shooting guard from the Florida Gators. If, as Rich said in the pregame show, if he wasn't on the mock drafts before, he is on the mock drafts now.
He wasn't anywhere on the
His
mock drafts.
run has been fantastic from the tournament, from the conference tournament to now the NCAA tournament. Tremendous.
He's been
34.
He's been, besides Flag, the best player in the big dance. And I think you could argue he's been just as good. I mean, again, he's different. He's not going to affect the game like Cooper Flag can with his defense and all-around game. But, man, I mean, some of these shots he's making. I mean, he's doing his best Quentin Grimes impression every single game on the biggest stage in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, I can't say that I've watched a ton of projected second-round picks and late first-round picks, but that kid's got to get drafted. I mean, come on.
Yeah, man. So starting off at Iona at the time with Rick Pitino when he was there, transferred to Florida, which is his home state, and has played some really good basketball. I believe he's, 6'4", 6'3", they have him as?
Yeah, that might be his issue is that he's not very big.
6'2", 6'3", somewhere around there. But, man, he can make some big shots, and you can tell.
He needs to work on his body.
Big stage, man. He's at 195 right now body-wise as far as his weight, 6'3". So he's probably 6'2", 190, somewhere around there. But he can score the basketball, and he can shoot. And in today's three-point era of basketball, you find a spot for a guy like that.
If you're a guard, the most important skill you can have, and I think you could argue that at one point it was floor sense and all of those things. Everything opens up in the modern game if you can shoot off the dribble. And this kid can do that, which makes his floor game like it's going to open up passing lanes for him, right? And I love that he never gets sped up. You know, he's always playing at his pace. Really is like a tough shot maker like Quentin Grimes. He's got to get a look at the NBA. I know he is on the older side, and that's, like one of the big selling points of Cooper Flag is how young he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's everything else too, but it's ridiculous that he's so good at a young age. So Clayton gets that dinged against him a little bit, but come on. I mean, this is the highest level of NCAA basketball, and he is dominating every single game. He's got to get drafted.
And our buddy, you better love somebody, love somebody, love somebody. The difference here, I wanted to make this comparison, love somebody, is that, yes, he is 22, 23 years old. You're absolutely right. He's been around, I mentioned, Iona. He goes all the way back to Iona. He's a senior. You compare him to somebody like Caleb Love. Caleb Love is nowhere near anybody's mock draft based on what he has done. And he had a really good run, really good tournament run, really good career, all that stuff. But nobody's talking about him. You can look at him and say, body-wise, he fits better for the pro game. But there's something about Michael Clayton Walter Clayton, I'm thinking about the movie again, as Boots says, awesome movie. You did too. Walter Clayton, it's just something about him and his shooting that will also most certainly make NBA teams think, you know what? I might give this guy a look and give him a run and see if he can make some shots at the NBA level. Draft him maybe, if not at the end of the first, early in the second.
We're talking second-round pick.
And we bring him up in terms of prospect watch because the Sixers have an early second-round pick.
Second-round pick.
Early second-round pick. Not that they will take him.
I'm not saying you should take him in the lottery, but
no, but he's been good.
He's been good.
He's been good. And you know what tournament success does when you make a run like this, and you get to the combine and you do the stuff there. You have these individual meetings with the teams. Things work out a way for some guys, especially if they feel like you have good character, all of that stuff. They'll give you a look. So really, really good performance. And no matter how things play out in the championship game, I'm in agreement with you. I think he is now in conversation of potentially being picked somewhere in the first, early second.
Yeah.
All right. The other guys that are playing right now, 52-42. It is in favor of Duke.
So I've had a little bit of it on in the second half. Flag has 16 points, 6 of 13 shooting. He had a very nice stretch recently here where he had a nice spinning move for a bucket and one, and then knocked down a 3 in succession. Another really good game, though, for our guy Knipple. 5 of 7 from the floor, 3 of 4 from 3. He's got 15 points and 2 assists, but seems like an efficient game for Khan. And our guy Malawach. Now, I can't really say I've watched a ton of his defense. He's got 6 points, 1 block, so not as big of a game for him.
No rebounds, though.
Yeah, no rebounds. That's true.
That's
a little
interesting.
surprising.
Yeah. I don't know how many minutes he's played, but that's interesting that he doesn't have a single rebound in this game. And as far as where I'm looking right now, it doesn't give you the minutes played so far. So, but that's odd that he doesn't have any rebounds at all. Knipple has 5. Flag has 4. Those are your 2 highs. Foster also had 4 off the bench.
I feel like Knipple's really helped himself over this past month.
Has he again put himself in that conversation for you?
In the top 6 range? Yeah.
6.
Yeah, towards the bottom of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have him higher too, which I'm not sure I agree with, because I'm just not sure I see all of the upside, even though he is good with the ball in his hands. I'm not trying to take that away from him. I'm just not sure I see the athleticism upside. But he's a good passer and good with the ball in his hands, and he's big. But yeah, I'm not sure I see that all the way. But yeah, once you get to 6, I think there are enough questions with the other guys and down in that range.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's all. So that's the prospect watch for us with the 4 prospects, and Clayton will be in the game on Monday. We'll see if the Blue Devil guys will be there.
They're up 12 right now, but they got to get it over the finish line.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. All right. Also, it's time for, by the way, Love Somebody says, I'm all in for an early second-round pick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, because the Sixers don't have a first-round pick later in the first.
We're not talking about him with the Sixers.
Doesn't mean the other teams may not elevate him and put him at the end of the first because they want an older guy instead of a younger prospect. Maybe they'll do it. Like Minnesota took Terrence Shannon's been around in Illinois for like 3 years. So they went. So they went in there. Some of the others also did the same thing, and we were kind of comping him, looking at him and saying, can he translate the way that Landry Shamet at point guard at Wichita State did? Can he transition the same way, Love Somebody, to being a type of role that Landry Shamet has in today's league, where he comes off the bench and he's just a shooter? So we'll see. And we'll see what he does on Monday night in the national championship game against either Duke or Houston. Let's get to the final spin of the week.
Well, let's do it.
Let's get to the Tankathon daily spin of the week, courtesy of Rich on this one. We got the number 4 pick.
4 pick.
In the last daily Tankathon spin on Thursday night. Let's see what Rich has for us now. Let's go.
Here it is.
Let's see. See what we have here.
Oh.
Where you at?
Number 3 pick.
Number 3.
That wouldn't be bad. I'd sign up for that. That'd be okay.
You know, we got to say I'm still going ace.
Going ace?
I'm still going ace at number 3.
The Helpful Hardware folks, that would be nice.
No, they would love it.
They would love it.
They would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going ace. Easy one. 6'10". Let's rock and roll. Let's see how it fits. Let's see how it works.
Good week of spins.
Yeah.
1, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for mine. Exclude mine. Where we got, what do we get? 7, Bree? Yeah, I think I got 7.
That's what the odds are, right? 60%.
That's it. So it worked out this week on the Daily Tankathon spins for us on our shows. All right, that'll do it for us tonight. Don't forget to sign up at allphly.com. Get yourself involved with the watch party, and so you can hang out with us on May 12th. Let's say our goodbyes to everybody with the world famous roll call. What up? You better love somebody, love somebody, love somebody right away, right out the top.
Fantastic.
And Riaz, super chat. Thank you,
Thank you, Riaz,
for the super chat. We also had Neil Deaver hanging out in there with us. Who else did we have? We had Larry K. We had Kev Igavini, Kyle Wright. What up, Kyle? Nona, Purple Heart. Also in the chat, hanging out with us. Thank you, ladies, as always. Boots. What up, Boots? I see Mom in there saying goodnight to everybody. Hey, Mom. Yams also in there. Had I didn't see John Peace, but you always get a John Peace piece with us right here. So what up, Al, John Peace, and Jay of the Jungle always get the shout-outs whether they're here or not. And Val, whatever, Val and Jeannie, if they're not here, they get them too. Mr. Sandman, Bring Me a Dream. Brandon Remo K. Scott Sotan, what up, Scotty? Rodem. Always great to catch up with Rodem here, hanging out with us on a late night. Vic, Money Mar, Aaron, what up, Aaron? We said Neil Deaver. What up, Nick? Saw Nick in there. X-Man, what up, X? Throw him up. Prophet 1, Vinny. Our good Vinny in there. Yep, let everybody know we're going to have food at our watch party. And only one way to end it off with the shout-outs. Anthony Edwards, thank you for getting on the bus and hanging out in the chat with us.
Some great comments, too.
He said, take that L.
Adding to the discourse as well.
He really said, take that L in the chat and then signed off for the rest of the show. But we appreciate the presence, Ant. Thank you so much. Everybody, make sure you go like and subscribe, as always, as we ask you to do. We really appreciate it. It helps us out, and it gives a special shout-out, as always, to production excellence done, as always, Bree here on the show.
The best.
When you do all of that, make sure you also hit the bell icon so you can get the alert that it is, in fact, showtime. That was a bad one. There you go, right there. Showtime. So, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us on this Saturday night. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. It's only 11 o'clock, so go rock and roll. Have a good time. Be safe. Do whatever you're going to do. Enjoy your Sunday, and then come back and reconvene on Monday at 7 o'clock for the pregame show as the Sixers travel to Miami to take on the Heat. We'll all be here for you for the pregame and the postgame. Sixers with 4 games remaining, 11-game losing streak. Miami can be a little Jekyll and Hyde-ish sometimes, so they might be in it, and we'll see how that one plays out. They have a few road games in Washington on Wednesday, and then I think they come back home for the final few.
Yeah, last two.
Atlanta
and
Chicago. Yep. So, folks, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much as always. We'll talk to you on Monday, 7 o'clock, right here for the PHLY Sixers pregame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. And you must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Everybody, good night.
We all silly like the mayor.